Hi guys! I brought the slats home with me in the last video and they're waiting for me out in the carport. They're waiting for me to do one of the things I dislike the most, which of course is sanding. Lots and lots of sanding. The only upside is I don't have to drive all the way up to the boat. Let's go take a look. Welcome to the closest thing to a workshop I've got. This is my carport, and the kayak you see out there, my dad and I built one of these each when I was 17, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, enough dilly-dallying, let's take a look at that mahogany. Over here are the starboard side slats, and I've already sanded those. Those are ready for varnishing. Over here we have the port side slats, and I still need to sand those, but I thought I'd share the misery with you guys. As for tools, things are really simple. I'm using my orbital sander with 180 grit sandpaper, and for the rounded edges on these slats, these flexible sanding blocks are really nice. Here are one of those misaligned holes we filled with epoxy in the last video, and once that's been varnished, it's gonna be almost invisible. The slats have already sanded the starboard side slats here. You can see that I've marked their position on the hull on the end of them. Let's go ahead and do the same to the port side slats. We're ready to get busy sanding, but I thought I'd show you two important safety items. Number one is a mask because it's gonna get dusty. Number two is a pair of in-ear headphones. And these are gonna block out a good part of the noise from the orbital sander. But what's more important, they'll allow me to listen to music, and that'll keep me from going insane from boredom. Look at all that dust. I guess one of the upsides to sanding is that you get to know every square centimeter of your wood. On this is the 9th piece on the port side of the boat. I discovered there's a small sort of hairline crack here, and there's also a crack here, or whatever that is. I don't know if either of those are going to show up on camera, but I'm going to discard this piece and just use one of the ones I've got left over to make a new one. I'm all done sanding the edges of the slats. I used one of these flexible sanding blocks I showed you earlier. But let's go ahead and set up the area where I'll be varnishing all of these slats, and that's inside the house. Welcome to my living room, or well, let's just consider this my indoor workshop. Of course, we're going to have to move a few things around in order for us to convert this to a workshop. And it's at times like this where it's a very good idea to be single. Things are a little bit crammed in here, but this is how I did all of the painting and varnishing for the major refit I did 2 years ago on Obelix. I would like to give myself a little bit more area to place my slats on, and luckily I've got this pine that I never got to use aboard the boat, so I'll use that. All of my tools are up in the boat. Now I've got some nails and I've found something to hit them with. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Well, surprisingly well. Before I start varnishing all of these pieces, which is going to be pretty close to torture, I'm going to give them a quick wipe with some grease remover. Okay guys, we're ready to start varnishing, and I'll be using this stuff, which is the exact same stuff as I've used aboard the rest of the boat. That way I hope, at least I think, I'll be sort of reasonably sure that my slats will look like the rest of the trim aboard the boat. Now, when it comes to varnishing, I am no expert, and it's been over a year since I've last had to endure the pleasures of varnishing stuff. So I've decided to start with the back of the slats. Wow, that was such a fun way to spend 51 minutes. Not really. Okay, so this is how the first coat looks, and I will have to wait 4 to 6 hours until we apply the second coat. As you might be able to tell by the view out of the window, it's a little later in the day and I've just finished applying the second coat. I've noticed I have a lot of runners, that's varnish dripping down the sides of the slats, and I will have to sand those before applying varnish to the front of the slats. But yeah, that's a problem for another day. Of course, those runners are 100% my own fault, and they're caused by me being sloppy. So it's fair that they should come back and bite me in the ass later with more sanding. Like I mentioned, it's been a while since I've varnished anything, and I'm glad I started with the back of those slats because I certainly need the practice. Now, I still have another 4 or 5 coats to apply on the back of these slats before flipping them over and doing the front, and I won't bore you with all of those coats, that would be quite tedious. So I guess I'll start the next video when I'm doing the second to last coat or something like that. Yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. See you! Jökull and I hope you've enjoyed this video. To be notified about new content, please click subscribe. If you're new to the channel, I suggest you check out the introduction playlist. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment.